Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 372 based on novel. So let's start. How could there be such a beautiful person in the world? Why don't you be my spouse? In your human terms, it is to be my wife and to continue my demon bloodline. The demon servant seemed to have swallowed all Lin Fengya's memory and cognition over time, looking at Lin Yunshu. With a noble gesture, he smiled slowly. He is not in a hurry, because of the power of the devil. His current strength has reached the critical point of the Tianqing continent. Half a step and 8 stars are even stronger, coupled with the mysterious and unpredictable devil attribute. Even if it is an emperor's shot, he still has absolute confidence. You're not worthy. Lin Yunshu frowned when he heard the words, and smiled sweetly, but that voice spread out like a Sanskrit sound, noble and lazy. Looking for death. Seeing that Lin Yunshu was so ignorant, the devil sneered. His body was covered in dark green blood mist, and a strong oppression filled the entire sky in awe. That's Her Royal Highness. It is rumored that Her Royal Highness has the power of stars, and Her Royal Highness can definitely lead us to victory. Pray for the princess. Pray. Looking at the endless void, the two figures stood quietly. The Tianyuan Mountains and even the common people in dozens of mountain ranges couldn't help but close their eyes, praying silently for the princess in their hearts. Go ahead. If you lose, even the old guy in the bedroom, including the entire continent, will be annihilated in my hands. The demon servant seemed to be looking forward to Lin Yunshu's shot, because he had just turned into a demon and just wanted to try it. With all his own power, and Lin Yunshu seemed to have some strange power, Ryo felt a bit of difficulty with his demonic power. Then, as you wish. Starfall. Lin Yunshu didn't hesitate too much. She also knew that she was now the hope of the entire continent, and with a wave of her hand, an unfathomable dazzling waterfall hung with countless stars, with a touch of power that was unseen in the world, facing the demon blasted away. The devil's hand. Looking at Lin Yunshu's mysterious star waterfall, the devil sneered, his arms suddenly raised and pointed at Lin Yunshu, and suddenly countless dark green breaths came out, forming a tens of thousands of feet in front of him. The hideous devil hand. The breath mixed with the devil's hand, like a real devil, is awe-inspiring, and a pressure fills the entire void. Boom. The star waterfall and the devil's hand just touched, and shocking energy ripples spread out from the sky like a sound wave. After a while, the power of star waterfall suddenly disintegrated, and immediately the devil's hand roared at Lin Yunshu. If the breath contained in it hit the princess, I'm afraid it would fall instantly. Princess. His Royal Highness Princess. Seeing such a sudden scene, countless figures held their breaths, their pupils shrank tightly, watching the fierce battle above the sky. Just when the devil's hand was about to hit Lin Yunshu smiled, and there was a warm atmosphere in his smile. Without any accident, the devil's hand suddenly tore apart Lin Yunshu's body, but it did not cause any damage. Instead, it directly penetrated Lin Yunshu's body, and a conspicuous hole appeared in his chest. It's just that there is no blood spilling out of the hole. Instead, there are a group of stars shining, like the stars that have been quietly sleeping for hundreds of millions of years, and finally slowly become shining. A touch of holy light suddenly spread out from the hole in his chest. The evil clouds above the sky disintegrated in an instant, and the starry sky in the sky became gloomy. No one knew whether it was day or night, but at this moment, the countless stars above the sky were all shining with their most dazzling luster, surrounded by repairing Lin Yunshu's chest. At this moment, Lin Yunshu's breath was awe-inspiring, like a real empress, surrounded by stars. 10,000 stars surrendered and crawled. It seemed that the survival of all beings in the sky was only a matter of one thought. What kind of power is this? The devil's hand was easily resolved, and even because of the starry sky, the flow of the devil's power became slow, and a strange power slowly lingered in the devil's heart, staring blankly. Lifting off, the princess who was about to merge with countless stars faintly lost her voice. At this moment, countless figures below cheered together, looking at the princess above the stars. The hope of victory was getting closer. The power of the stars has indeed succeeded. At this time, in the emperor's bedroom, the emperor stood up from the dragon's seat excitedly. The light of the stars, grant me the holy power to wipe out the evil in the world. As if chanting, as if asking, Lin Yunshu slowly wrapped his hands around his chest, and countless stars all over his body suddenly fell from the sky, immediately surrounded him. After a while, it directly penetrated into his skin and forehead. After a while, a starlight slowly appeared on Lin Yunshu's forehead. The starlight contained endless vitality and endless killing, but it was very quiet at this time. Light of the stars, star talisman, suppress it. After the blink of an eye, Lin Yunshu's hands shone with a strong breath of life, blessed with the power of the wood attribute, and gently tore on his forehead violently, and suddenly a silver rune engraved with countless stars fell off. At this moment, countless human beings below, even the powerhouses of the Soul Palace and the Holy See, stopped their movements and quietly looked at the sky above. Princess Lin Yunshu, who was like a mansion. Even the faint star talisman in Lin Yunshu's hand contains the power to destroy all beings. Brother Huang, it's over. Lin Yunshu tore off the star talisman branded on his forehead, his breath slumped violently, but he still took a light pace, walking towards the devil step by step. The terrifying offensive in his hand was irresistible. No! It's not over yet. Devil world, blood devours the world. Seeing Lin Yunshu using his trump card, the demon looked extremely ferocious, and a mouthful of dark green blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth, and then suddenly scattered towards the countless commoners below. The dark green blood turned into waves of evil rain. Once it touched a human being, it would make a heart-piercing scream. Immediately, the body was completely corroded, and a smear of soul and blood essence followed the evil rain. And it feeds back into the demon's body. It's up to you now. With the continuous slaughter of these commoners, a demonic gear that was covered with terrifying evil lines and stretched all over the place slowly took shape in front of the demon. It's over. Lin Yunshu was already at the end of his force. Looking at the countless suffering commoners below, he waved his palm lightly, and the star talisman was projected away. The star talisman has just been projected, and it seems to have life. Countless auras permeate the air, and even the space passed along the way is extremely distorted, and a power that destroys everything spontaneously arises. Give it to me. At the same time, the demon also pushed out the gears that were tens of thousands of feet in size, bursting out with a terrifying evil aura, mixed with a harsh sound, resounding throughout the whirl. At this moment, the world is moved, the real world is pale. Boom! The deafening explosion sounded like the most violent collision between the two gods' mansions. The sky was riddled with holes, and energy ripples spread out uncontrollably. Was pierced. After the breath, the incomparable mysterious star talisman and the power of the devil intertwined with each other and collapsed. For a time, the two forces seemed to be evenly matched, and slowly solidified, turning into a huge ice stone with a size of 10,000 feet. The power of the star talisman and the power of the devil are deadlocked. After the breath, a series of conspicuous cracks emerged, shattered into pieces of ice sculptures, and fell vertically from the sky toward the endless abyss, even with residual ice. The block fell on the residential area, like a meteor falling. A deep pit of several dozen meters emerged, and the power contained in it not only contained some extremely evil demons, but also the power of mysterious and unpredictable stars. This is. On the cliff in the distance, using trees to avoid the pursuit of Soul Shaw and others, Xiao Yan watched the terrifying scene in the sky. His body and mind suddenly shrank, and he lost his voice. Just facing Soul Yumeng in the late stage of 7-star fighting immortals, as well as Gamma and Ji Shen, if they don't retreat in time, I am afraid that everyone will be in trouble. What Xiao Yang didn't expect was that Lin Fengya felt that he had obtained a half-ripe devil fruit, and thus devoured it and produced such a mutation, only that Princess Lin Yunshu forcibly awakened the power of the stars in her body in order to defend against such a powerful enemy. Xiao Yang could clearly feel that after this attack, the aura in the princess's body instantly weakened, but it was obviously not enough to completely obliterate the demon with this attack. I'm going to save her. After a while, Ji Shen looked at the demon above the sky with gloomy eyes, trying hard to find the princess's shadow. Clenching his fists tightly, his tone became cold, and the uncontrollable murderous aura filled the air. Come out. Lin Yunshu has already made a private life with him, and now the first class of female streamers have sacrificed themselves for the safety of the entire continent, fighting against demons. As his husband-in-law, how can he sit still like this? Calm me down. Xiao Yang looked at Ji Shen's scarlet eyes, and directly restrained Ji Shen in place with his grudge. Gamma, what is the solution to the power of the devil? Xiao Yang turned his head, the terrifying soul power tortured Gamma, and said sternly. No. Once the power of the devil starts, it can't be stopped. You will all die. Although Gamma's face was in pain, his dark green evil hair covered his face, and beneath his face was a scorching frenzy. Waiting. When the angel of the Holy See appears, or when the servant of the devil obliterates him, he can honorably devote himself to the devil. I will always be the servant of the devil, in order to welcome the devil to the greatest scholar in the world. Lin Fengya deliberately wanted to find the two devil fruits, but he deceived him by using a blind method. As for the last ripe devil fruit, I am afraid that only Gamma is hiding somewhere. At this time, Gamma had obviously left and finally belonged, just waiting quietly for the opportunity. You flies, you run really fast. Just when everyone was distracted by the attack above the sky, the void in front of them shook slightly, and a dark shadow appeared. Hunyameng, you haunted fellow. Xiao Yang said coldly, but his whole body became vigilant. He glanced over and saw a cliff not far away. From the cliff down, there is the abyss that divides the Chenyuan Mountains to the left and right. No one knows what they will encounter when they jump down, whether it is life or death. But at this time, I am afraid there is only one way. It's surprising that the powerhouses of the Soul Palace actually have the leisure to come to participate in this kind of thing. Just when Sol Yumeng took action to arrest Xiao Yang and a few people, a scorching white light appeared all over the body, and it was easy to destroy Sol Yu. The chains of the black mist of the dream were expelled. Sol Yumeng raised her head and looked at the figure in white in front of her, unable to help but lose her voice. Sol is an extremely outstanding bodyguard under Mekl. Even if he is in the late stage of the 7-star fighting immortals, he may not be able to beat her. You guys, hand over the devil fruit. And your kid, peel off the Shengyangan in your body and separate it out, and I can spare you from dying. A pure white brilliance flickered on the turbulent cliff on Sol's body, making it immobile. What should I do now? Ji Xian asked anxiously as the battle unfolded in the sky. Follow me with Gamma, trust me. At this moment, Xiao Yang had no choice. A trace of holy flame entangled the two of them, ready to act at all times. Sol, we have no hatred between us and you in the Soul Palace. Now we are going our separate ways, how about it? The dark fog of Sol Yumeng shook, and the gloomy ghostly aura continued to permeate the sacred light on Sol's body. After all, the powerhouses of the Soul Palace master the sinister powers such as souls and ghosts. Similar to the light attributes of the powerhouses of the Holy See, they pose a fatal threat to them. Not so good. These 3 people, we want them. If you don't agree, you can take action. Sol frowned slightly, revealing an unquestionable majesty. You forced me. 10,000 souls burial. Hunyameng is worthy of being a ruthless person. The palm of his hand suddenly raised, and then countless ghostly souls were released by it, and they were all wiped out above the void. For a time, Hunyameng's strength soared directly to the perfection of the 7-star fighting immortals, and even above his arm, a scream of Yin Feng's anger slowly emerged, rendering its power extremely gloomy. Your Soul Palace and our Holy See really have no grievances, but your dirty methods are shameless for the great thousand world. That's why. The light shines in the world. Sol is not a vegetarian either. The hot light around his body spread out like the light of dawn, and he resisted the attack of Sol Yumeng for a while. Go down to the abyss. While the two were fighting fiercely, Xiao Yang's body burned with determination, and all the means of the dragon god transformation were used, and the speed skyrocketed. With the two of them, they turned into meteors, breaking free from the shackles of Sol's light in one fell swoop. Leaping, it turned out to be shooting towards the bottomless abyss. Not good. Following the sudden scene of Xiao Yang and the others, Sol and Hunyameng shouted at the same time, and immediately the two figures walked away towards the edge of the cliff at the same time. It's a pity that the 3 Xiao Yang were extremely fast, and they had already jumped into the abyss with the momentum of thunder. Beneath the abyss, the dark and cold aura is like a gate to hell, mysterious and solemn. And above the sky, the battle is also gradually divided into winners and losers. This time, the catastrophe on the Qianxing continent, the battle between the demons, the Holy See, the Soul Palace and the royal family has also entered a white-hot stage. Whether it is heaven or hell, I am afraid it depends on this time. The other side. Who is the winner? Watching the thousands of meters of deep color and dark green energy ripples in the sky combine into ice cubes that continue to drip, the bodies of countless people below suddenly tensed, and they stared dumbfounded at the two stalemate above the sky. At this moment, the flowers, trees, and even the space above the mountains were frozen, quietly crawling and waiting for the final victory. After the rest, the battle above the sky is also a winner. The power of the stars is tyrannical, but unfortunately I still won. Countless ice cubes fell rapidly, and the demons stepped on the countless ice cubes, and the evil energy spread. At this time, the countless dark green auras on the devil's body were dying, falling off continuously, and the skin protected by the dark green aura also had obvious scars. Once the dark green aura completely fell off, the devil's vitality would also disappear. Sure enough. Lin Yunshu was completely weak, his face was pale, the stars around his body were dim, and he fell vertically into the abyss. His Royal Highness in human mouths is nothing but the same. It's over. The demon knew that the princess was now in a state of exhaustion, and immediately approached with a seriously injured body step by step. Everything, as if he was the real winner. Bang bang bang. The demon came to Lin Yunshu's body, where he fell, and pushed it out with a palm. Even though his strength was quite weak now, with this palm, Lin Yunshu was the only thing that ended up in a sad death. The devil really lives up to its reputation. But you forgot me. Give me a hand and capture it. The demon shot out, his body became weak, and immediately a black mist trembled and wriggled. Is the soul boundless? It can be seen that the original owner of this body hates you very much, so as the one who succeeded him, I am naturally obliged to kill you for him. After the demon finished speaking, a gleam of evil gleamed in his eyes, and he was fighting with Soul Wuji. Together. Princess. Above the sky, Lin Yunshu, who fell vertically, was completely powerless. He wanted to sideways to avoid this devastating palm, but he was weak and found that he couldn't do it. Lin Yunshu's descent was extremely fast, his goal was heading towards the abyss, and the demon palm that could destroy everything followed closely behind. Is this the gate to hell? The corners of the eyes were so severe that they couldn't open their eyes due to the pressure. They could only vaguely see some very faint light spots under the abyss below. Ah Xian, father and elders, you really failed you. At this moment, Lin Yunshu blamed himself. Since returning from the Xianling continent, the power of the stars in her body has emerged, and she has been practicing day and night, in order to be able to dedicate herself to this huge empire, but now that the catastrophe has come, what she can do is also minimal. I'm finally relieved, forgive me for my cowardice and selfishness. The speed has dropped, and he has slowly disappeared from the sight of the common people. He was swallowed by the abyss and fell into the dark abyss. There was no sign of dissipating, but Lin Yunshu was relieved. But I don't want to die. I promised, Xian would put on a wedding dress for him, and Xiao Yang promised him the immortal flame. Lin Yunshu's eyes couldn't help turning red, and he wanted to struggle, but just now the sequelae caused by forcibly awakening the power of the stars are too strong, and there is nothing I can do now. In the abyss, there was a sound of squirming and biting, as if you were their food. Once the anger on your body disappeared, these dark worms around you would not hesitate. Bite yourself. Lin Yunshu closed his eyes gently, trying to make death as easy as possible, and shook his head suddenly to keep himself from thinking about other things. Crash. Just when Lin Yunshu gave up his resistance, one after another extremely harsh and terrifying flames sounded from the dark abyss, like the only light in the dark night. Get out of here. Get out of here. Death to me. Xiao Shu, hold on. One after another roaring roar resounded in the dark abyss. Big guy, lean over. Ji Xian, be optimistic about the position, catch the princess, and I will solve the remaining dark worms. The three of Xiao Yang stood on the shoulders of a magnificent giant and acted separately. That's it. Lin Yunshu opened his pupils with great difficulty, looking at the three people in front of him as if they were struggling in the dark quagmire. Destroy me. At this moment, Xiao Yang's body, the amber flame soul fire fused with the four-color holy flames, was controlled by Xiao Yang's soul power, and turned into a huge and ferocious fire python, wrapped around the dark underworld, constantly strangling the dark worm. Dark worms, this is a very special kind of creature. It seems that it is only found in this dark abyss. According to Xiao Yang's analysis just now, this kind of dark worms has no attack power, but they will wait for the rabbit and fall into the darkness. In the abyss, after losing all vitality, they will take the initiative to attack, and their power is enough to swallow the fighting spirit and soul of human beings. However, Xiao Yang is also surprised that the dark underworld can actually be suspended in this figure. It seems that the dark underworld has some connection with the following, but the dark underworld is admonishing Xiao Yang through the soul brand. There seems to be some big guy below, don't act rashly. From the deep catastrophe tone of the dark underworld master, it seems to be able to guess that the strength of the thing below may touch the reincarnation, and it is more tyrannical than the masters such as the master of the Soul Eater. With a sound, the dark underworld who was entangled by the amber fire python suddenly caught the princess. Lord Xiao Yang, there is a devil's palm behind you. Ji Xian had no time to catch his breath just after catching the princess, and said indifferently to Xiao Yang, "Get out of the way." Xiao Yang didn't speak, his figure jumped up instantly, and in his hand, a four-color flame lotus seed was ready to go. Boom! The terrifying demon palm was hit by Xiao Yanfuo's wrathful reincarnation and disintegrated in an instant. Xiao Yang, thank you. Seeing that the crisis was resolved, Lin Yunshu also took a deep breath and smiled reluctantly. Xiao Yang didn't speak, he was guarding the surrounding area, but Gamma's eyes had been staring at him since he entered the abyss, which made Xiao Yang rather tilde you can rest in peace, leave the rest to me. At this moment, Ji Shen hugged the princess with tenderness like a waterway. No, King Father is now taking the rest of his troops to surround the Soul Hall and the Holy Sea Powerhouse. If Sol Wuji and Lin Fengya's demons are not resolved, I'm afraid this time. Even though Lin Yunshu was weak, there was no stubbornness in his eyes. No reduction. But then you will die. Ji Shen also smelled something in Lin Yunshu's eyes, and said with red eyes, "Who made me a princess?" Lin Yunshu smiled helplessly. She didn't want this either, but unfortunately, this kind of thing seems to be decided from birth. She is a princess who is believed by countless people in the Tianqing continent. How could she give up the entire continent for her own personal affairs? While speaking, the lines of stars on Lin Yunshu's forehead flickered, and a trace of soft power filled her body, dazzling like a firefly in the darkness. In the dark and cold abyss. I don't allow you to do this. Ji Shen tightly hugged the person in his arms, and after a long while, he reluctantly said a word. Don't worry, I will come back safely. Lin Yunshu comforted softly. She naturally knew what Ji Shen was worried about. Looking at Ji Shen's speechless appearance, Lin Yunshu's cheeks flashed a hint of crimson, and then his eyes reflected Ji Shen's figure. Yuko gently kissed Ji Shen. At this moment, the air suddenly became silent, but after a while, Lin Yunshu naughty bit gently, and for a while, a trace of blood slowly flowed down his jade mouth. I'm leaving, I won't break my promise this time. Song said, as if the kiss contained 1,000 words. A trace of pure white stars appeared under Lin Yunshu's feet, and after the blink of an eye, the lines of stars on his forehead flickered. The dazzling light turned into a beautiful cloth behind it, protecting Lin Yunshu. The bloodshot at the corner of his mouth did not dissipate, and slowly dripped down his body, instantly rendering Lin Yunshu's entire body a blood red, as violent and unmatched as a bloodthirsty beast. I'll accompany you. Looking at the guy in front of him, Ji Shen's aura broke through to the early stage of 7-star fighting immortals in one fell swoop, and immediately hugged the princess and said, all right, don't go. It's a pity that such a pair of gods and goddesses did not succeed in cultivation. As your senior brother, it is naturally enough to take on something for you. I'll go out in a while, and you should stabilize the common people first, and join up with the emperor and other high-level royal family members. I have my own way for demons and souls. I just hope that the strong souls of the Soul Hall and the Holy Sea support will not be too strong. Let's go. Xiao Yang analyzed, and his eyes became deep after speaking. At this moment, the princess and Ji Shen were surprisingly not struggling. They quietly looked at Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's body became imposing and mighty. They also knew that this method was the best. As long as the remaining Soul Temple powerhouses are obliterated and the power of the other two turmoil is suppressed, it is possible to win. Otherwise, once the demon or Soul Wuji freeze up, what awaits them is the real doomsday. Boom. After being instructed by Xiao Yang, there was a violent vibration in the dark void. The dark underworld master held his feet and jumped straight away. His footsteps were a little empty in the dark abyss. Go to the outer sky. What is going on down here? Xiao Yang was still a little curious when he left, and the dazzling soul power slid into the bottomless abyss. Beneath the dark abyss, it was as bottomless as a bottomless pit. The dark and icy aura made the body and mind tense all the time, and the suppressed aura was even more severe. There was no feedback, but because of Xiao Yang's action, a breath of awe and horror from his blood filled Xiao Yang's entire body, which was not resolved until he left the abyss. Descendants of the Xiao clan, they are really disgusting things. After a long time, after Xiao Yang and the others left the abyss, a resentful voice from the bottom of the abyss sounded like a supreme demon, slowly resounding in the abyss. The aura contained in that voice is completely different from that of a powerhouse like the Soul Eater. That's a taste that almost transcends reincarnation. Just after leaving the bottom of the abyss, a few people were in danger. After a while, everyone split up. Ji Shen and the princess went to join most of them, leaving behind Xiao Yang, the Dark Lord and Gamma, but what Xiao Yang did not expect was, Gamma actually actively follows itself. Don't look at me, I just want to see how you died. Gamma smiled. Let's go and see the powerhouses of the Holy Sea first. Xiao Yang bound Gamma under the arm of the Dark Underworld warrior, and he stood on the shoulders of the giant knight, facing the sky. The Soul Wuji and the devil fought. Place to go. At this moment, in the sky, countless black mist and dark green blood mist are like struggling fireworks, constantly blooming with gorgeous brilliance. Sir, we have found Gamma's location. At this time, in Lin Feng's house, the parade angel Mekl was seated in a pavilion slightly and Sol walked quietly behind him, returning to return. Where is he? Mekl frowned. He was with Xiao Yang at this time, heading towards the center of the battle between the demon and Sol Wuji, but the remaining devil fruit is missing. Thor also wondered. Forget it, this kind of evil person should be completely annihilated here. During the speech, a hot and dazzling white light around Mekl's body was like a ray of light, slowly wrapping around his body, and his aura was set off very much like ordinary people. Different. The chill of light. After a while, Mekl's palm slowly presented a tray shape, and then an invisible bear bow appeared, and a terrifying light pattern instantly emerged from the body and wrapped around his bear bow. Go. With a heavy wave, the bow of light suddenly roared out, and for a while, the magnificent building collapsed in an instant, and immediately brought a storm of light patterns, which filled the entire void. Shooting away from a distance. The sacred and hot light pattern, it seems that the sharpest weapon in the angel's hand, turned into an extremely sharp arrow, and it exploded. Sacred is not controlled by the power of the sky demon and Sol Wuji. It is roaring and screaming, and it cuts through the sky in an instant. Immediately, in a swooping posture, it goes towards the Gamma under the arm of the dark underworld. Looking at this sudden ray of light, Sol Wuji and the demon who were fighting in the sky stopped their attacks one after another, and their eyes flickered with awe, trying to find the source of the attack. Because of the sacred power contained in this attack, Rao felt a burst of heart palpitations with their strength. Don't! The arrow of light above the sky suddenly turned around, and suddenly crossed the void, froze the space, and beheaded towards Gamma. At this moment, the dark underworld warrior was also oppressed extremely tyrannically. On his giant body, a touch of darkness from protected him and Xiao Yang. Angel arrows. Destroy it to me. At this moment, Xiao Yang's whole body was on fire, and his bones and pupils flashed with extremely terrifying power. Burning dew, swallowing the flames, and fighting the soul with all the means, adding the fire of the holy flame. At this time like a real volcano venting his anger. The previous Xiao Yang had always been responsible for protecting others and had hidden a lot of power. At this moment, he was like a real Nirvana reborn. The arrow of light spreads around carrying the divine light, and when it touches the powerhouses of the Soul Palace, those guys are directly evaporated and disappear into a smear of black gas. Still going, still spreading. It's just that this kind of attack locked Gamma. Even with the protection of Xiao Yang and the dark underworld, Gamma couldn't escape. Fate. But you forgot the last devil fruit. The mere angels are nothing but a group of devils in human skins. This time, let the demonic will of our faith completely evaporate all this. Watching the arrows of light in the sky getting closer and closer, the corner of Gamma's mouth was it became dark, and even the dark green breath slowly squirmed, and at the heart, it seemed that something terrible was about to break out of the ground. And Gamma's eyes became dull and respectful at this moment, looking at Xiao Yang with respect like a simple servant. What the is this guy doing? Looking at the bright arrows swooping down from the sky, Xiao Yang felt powerless for a while because he was in the peak state of power. Judging from the feedback of his soul power, it seems that all his attacks and defenses will be disintegrated by the bright arrows except for the fire of holy flame. However, the aura contained in this bright arrow has exceeded the scope of the fusion of 4 holy flames, at least 5. But now Xiao Yang has no time. Big guy, help me. Xiao Yang said coldly before he could care about Gamma's crazy staring at him. There was an unquestionable coercion in his voice, so much so that an obscure force surged between his eyebrows. Move, it is about to emerge. Boom. At this moment, Dark Underworld and Xiao Yang echoed each other, and a dark chain formed on their bodies, sharing the burden and pain of each other. Thank you. Then leave it to me. Seeing that the Dark Underworld master would not hesitate to use such a method, Xiao Yang smiled casually, and couldn't help but feel awe at the Dark Underworld master. Soul Chain, this is a unique power ability of summoned objects, which can collude when the owner faces danger, and the summoned object and the summoner share the power of destruction together. The devil is above, your servant prays again, please grant the great demon will. Evil light illuminates the earth, making the pattern of this world turbulent. An unusually gloomy roar spread out from Gamma's mouth, even from his heart. Xiao Yang's body was blessed with countless strengths, and the phantom of the fighting soul showed Xiao Yang's defense incisively and vividly, and even the swallowing technique raised the strength of the strong to the level of half a step and 7 stars. Under the increase, above Xiao Yang's palm, the amber holy flame originally vented out, wrapping around his arm wrapped by the dragon scales under the tyrant. Go. Like a beam of light that leaps up from the ground, it wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with the sky. Its aura is overwhelming, and its unruly aura is like a training beast that breaks free from and longs for freedom. Whoosh whoosh. But the arrow of light that swooped down from the sky ignored Xiao Yang, and the scorching aura of radiance around him was overwhelming, trying to break through Xiao Yang's attack in one fell swoop, stabbing away at Gamma. Where to run? The bodies of the two instantly overlapped, and on Xiao Yang's arm, he poured out the strongest blow of all his current strength, with an overwhelming aura of oppression, and they directly touched each other. Bang bang bang! The white arrow and Xiao Yang's amber dragon scale arm directly touched each other, terrifying energy ripples spread uncontrollably, and even the void around them collapsed in an instant, a faint trace of the time and space vortex slowly appear. Damn it! Xiao Yang's face tensed up, his body was constantly irrigated, whether it was fighting qi, the source of holy flame or soul power, they were all consumed at an extremely fast rate. Mortals also try to oppose the light that illuminates the world, and seek their own way of death. But that's fine, I'll save it. Sol, let's go, we still have to collect Xiao Yang's body and ask Gamma the whereabouts of the last devil fruit. Lin Feng's mansion, the Tor Angel looked at the shocking battle circle above the sky, and said softly, the two suddenly turned into a rainbow light and slowly disappeared here, but Lin Feng's well-collected mansion behind them was instantly turned into ashes by a flash of white flames. Father. On the other side, after the Princess Ji Shen and the Emperor reunited, many high-ranking royal family members couldn't help losing their voices as they watched the deafening attack on the sky. I miscalculated. At this moment, a trace of self-blame emerged in the Emperor's heart. Originally, this election day was only to erase the power in the hands of the two princes, and to let Lin Yunshu fully awaken the power of the stars, but now that the devil has appeared, Sol Wuji brings the army of the Soul Palace, and even the powerhouses of the Holy See are also involved. Time has made the Emperor devastated. All the power of Lin Feng and Lin Fengya's subordinates turned into the power of the Soul Palace and the Holy See, and the power of the royal family was greatly reduced. Do it, at all costs, we must expel all the strong souls. The Emperor looked at Xiao Yang's figure in the sky, and ordered one after another to be arranged in an orderly manner. Ah Xian, do you think Xiao Yang will win? Now that the army of the Soul Palace is broken, the civilians in Tianqing City have suffered heavy casualties. In addition to the betrayal of Lin Feng and Lin Fengya, the power of the royal family is only 5/10, and these forces are far from enough to resist the power of the Soul Palace. The priest and the Holy See, Lin Yunshu said with dark eyebrows wriggling as he stared blankly at the sky. Are we going to die? Probably not, because I trust Lord Xiao Yang. Let's go, leave these things to them. Even if things finally get out of hand, it's enough to be with you this time. Well, each do their part, and leave the rest to the will of God. Above the sky, the power of the white arrows seemed to break free from the darkness of the blood cloud in which Sol Wuji and the demons were fighting, and a scorching sun shone on it. Infused with endless divine power, he broke through Xiao Yang's block in one fell swoop, and the speed of his breath increased sharply. Bang bang bang! With a sound, Xiao Yang's figure was also shot down by him. Bloodstains appeared on his body. The blood uncontrollably overflowed from the corners of his mouth, nose, and even ears. Completely lost. Sure enough, it's still a little short. Xiao Yang first fell on the shoulders of the dark underworld, and the dark chain on the dark underworld became illusory. Obviously, it was also severely affected, but at this time it was still like a night generally guarded Xiao Yang, and there was no sign of retreating. Are you going to die? At this moment, a sense of powerlessness slowly appeared in Xiao Yang's heart, but as the blood flowed from his body, the clan lines on Xiao Yang's forehead never appeared, but Xiao Yang felt all the pain in his senses at this time. Disappeared, his eyes became scattered, and he could vaguely see 3 shadows floating in front of his eyes. Zana. Kaylin. Ying. Xiao Yang whispered softly, his voice contained endless deep meaning. Finally made me wait. Kid, do you want to have power? At this moment, Gamma was covered in a dark green blood mist. He was neither human nor ghost. With a crazy smile, he approached Xiao step by step. Inflammation. You lunatic, get away from me. Even in the end, Xiao Yang didn't have any good feelings for Gamma, not to mention anything else, just using the devil's lair to study the attributes of the devil. There are countless human sea beasts who have fallen. This kind of guy should go down to the 18 layers of Tilda. There will be no reincarnation. There is no right or wrong in the birth of power. What is wrong is not power, but human beings. It is the greed of human beings that creates the differences in power. But now I can also honorably sacrifice myself to meet the will of the devil. This time, there will be a human being born in the world who truly masters the power of demons, only this one. Soul promise, Mekl. Gamma is the last laughing one. Gamma's smile was a little distorted, even a little crazy. just finished speaking, the speed skyrocketed, and he sprinted directly towards the diving arrow of light. He is going to die. But it was Gamma's action that made Sol Wuji above the sky, demon servants, and even the emperor who came here, the parade angel Mekl, and the pupils shrank. This video will end here.